The way you treat a $5 bill you find on the street tells you everything about your financial future. You likely feel a small thrill, a sense of luck, and you spend it quickly, easily, on something you wouldn't normally buy. It feels like free money. We're going to dismantle the hidden accounting system in your brain that created that feeling. A system that quietly decides how much money you're allowed to have. And chances are, that system is costing you more than you could possibly imagine. Think of your relationship with money like a thermostat in your house. You set it to a specific temperature, say 72 degrees. If the room gets colder, the heat kicks on. If it gets hotter, the air conditioning starts. The thermostat's only job is to maintain that set point. It works automatically, in the background, without you thinking about it. You have a financial thermostat too. It's a subconscious comfort zone, a level of wealth and income that feels normal and right for you. If you fall below that set point, you'll feel a powerful urge to work harder, find new opportunities, and get back to what feels normal. You get a sudden burst of motivation, the heat kicks on. But here's the part that nobody talks about. If you experience a sudden surge of money above that set point, a big promotion, a surprise inheritance, the air conditioning kicks on. A powerful, subconscious force will activate to bring you back down to your familiar temperature. This is the invisible mechanism behind lottery winners who are broke again within 5 years. It's why people who get a large bonus feel a sudden, inexplicable urge to spend it all, almost compulsively. They're relieving the psychological tension of having more than they believe, deep down they are worth. The system is working perfectly to restore what feels like home. But what if the temperature of home is financial struggle? Then the thermostat becomes a prison. And the most chilling part is that we mistake its walls for the shape of reality itself. So where does this thermostat setting even come from? It's installed long before you have any say in the matter. It's constructed from fragments of your childhood. Overheard conversations between your parents about bills at the kitchen table? The quiet shame or loud arguments about money? The feeling that asking for something was a burden. These moments weren't just moments, they were programming. They were the slow calibration of your sense of what is possible, what is appropriate, and what a person like you is allowed to have. Each experience created a silent belief, a belief about whether money is a source of joy and freedom, or a source of anxiety and conflict. A belief about whether wealth makes you a good person or a greedy one. This programming creates a ceiling on what you can tolerate. We talk about tolerating hardship, but we rarely talk about tolerating success. Earning an amount of money that dramatically exceeds your internal set point creates a sensation of vertigo. It feels fraudulent. The imposter syndrome that kicks in isn't just a feeling of professional inadequacy. It's your entire identity screaming that this new reality is a mistake, that you don't belong here. To resolve this painful dissonance, we engage in subtle, or sometimes spectacular acts of self-sabotage. We spend it, we make bad investments. We find a way to get back to the familiar stress of our old financial life. Because at least there, we knew who we were. But how does this sabotage actually execute in your daily life? The instructions are sent through the language of emotion. The mechanism is discomfort. That's how the thermostat works. Think about asking for a raise. You've done the research. You know your market value is 20% higher than your current salary. But when you sit down in that meeting, a wave of physical anxiety washes over you. Your heart pounds. Your palms sweat. You feel an overwhelming urge to back down, to accept a smaller number, to just make the uncomfortable feeling go away. That feeling is your financial thermostat at work. It's the air conditioning kicking on, flooding your system with stress signals to prevent you from rising above your set point. When you accept the lower salary, you feel a wave of relief. The discomfort vanishes. Your thermostat won. It successfully kept you at the temperature where you belong. This happens everywhere. It's the creative professional who consistently underprices their work because quoting a fair rate makes them feel greedy and sick to their stomach. It's the person who receives a small inheritance and immediately loans it to a reckless family member, knowing they'll never see it again. It's the investor who sells a winning stock the moment it makes a small profit, unable to tolerate the discomfort of watching it grow into something truly significant. Each of these actions feels logical in the moment. We tell ourselves stories to justify them. I don't want to seem difficult. They need it more than I do. It's better to take a small win, but these are just the conscious mind's rationalizations for a deeply subconscious directive. The directive is simple: return to the set point at all costs. The mismatch between your bank account and your self-concept is a problem to be solved, and the fastest way to solve it is to shrink the bank account. Of course, systemic issues, economic inequality, and pure bad luck are immensely powerful forces. Acknowledging this internal mechanism is about understanding the friction that exists, even when opportunity appears. It explains why two people in the exact same circumstances can have wildly different outcomes. One person seizes the opportunity because it aligns with their sense of self. The other person deflects it because it conflicts with theirs. They are both responding to their internal thermostat. The system is brutally efficient. But because it's a learned program, it can be rewritten. The process is mechanical. It has nothing to do with reciting affirmations in the mirror. It's about building a case file. You cannot think your way to a higher sense of self-worth. You must act your way there. You change the thermostat setting by deliberately creating new evidence. You have to build a new case file for a new identity, one piece of proof at a time. This starts with small, concrete, and often uncomfortable actions. Think of it like calibrating a very sensitive scale. You don't drop a heavy weight on it. You add one small gram, let the scale settle, and then add another. If you've never invested before, your thermostat is set to, "I am not an investor." Your first act is to open an investment account and put in $50. Just 50. The act itself is a piece of evidence. It's a statement. The $50 might feel terrifying to risk. That discomfort is the signal you are doing it right. You are pushing against the edge of your current set point. The next piece of evidence is successfully negotiating a small discount on a bill. The one after that is setting up an automatic transfer of $25 a week into a savings account you label Opportunity Fund. These actions seem insignificant. They are anything but. Each completed action is a data point that gets submitted to your subconscious. Each one says, "I am the kind of person who handles money well. I am the kind of person who values my resources." The feelings of fear and fraudulence will still be there. The goal is to tolerate the discomfort long enough to complete the action. The action creates the evidence. The evidence begins to slowly, almost imperceptibly update the belief. The updated belief makes the next, slightly larger action a little bit easier. The feedback loop has begun. The thermostat is being recalibrated, 1 degree at a time. But this reveals a paradox. If your actions are governed by your old identity, how do you even generate that first piece of new evidence? You give yourself permission to pretend. You act as if you are already the person who deserves it. The first action is taken on credit. You borrow the self-worth from your future self. It feels like you're an actor playing a role. The role is person who is financially competent. You know it's a performance. But your subconscious doesn't. Your subconscious only watches what you do. It's a behavioral accountant. It sees the action of you opening the investment account, and it makes a small entry in the ledger. It sees you turn down an impulse purchase, and it makes another entry. It doesn't care if you felt confident while doing it. It only records the behavior. The behavior is the evidence. This is why Fake It Till You Make It contains a shred of mechanical truth. The making it is the point where you have accumulated so many new data points, so many entries in the ledger, that the weight of evidence shifts. Your identity updates to match your new, repeated behaviors. Suddenly, asking for that raise is still a little uncomfortable, but it's no longer terrifying. Quoting your fair price feels less like a confrontation and more like a simple statement of fact. You are no longer pretending. The evidence file is thick enough that the new identity has become your default. Your thermostat has a new set point. Go back to that $5 bill on the street. Free money. The feeling comes from a belief that money you didn't suffer for has less value. It's unearned. The final stage of this internal recalibration is when this distinction dissolves. It's when money that flows to you from an easy source, a great idea, a passive investment, a sudden opportunity feels just as valid, just as real, and just as deserving of respect as the money you earned through hours of hard labor. It's when your internal accounting system finally agrees that your value is inherent. Your worth is a constant, independent of how much you struggle. The most expensive thing you will ever own is a limiting story about what you deserve. And this exact same mechanism explains why accepting a simple compliment can feel so painfully difficult. It's a different currency, certainly, but it's the same internal accounting